Baltimore Ravens putting one on the Miami Dolphins, 56-19. Lamar Jackson, 321 through the air, 5 touchdowns. MVP me. All right, let's take you right to the site where our guy Charles Davis is standing by with reaction. Charles, maybe just a wow is in order right now with the way that the Ravens went about their business in this one. You talked about it at halftime a bit. It was counterpunches in the first half, seeming that the Ravens always had one, and then a flurry of them in the second half. What do you make of the way they controlled and dictated the pace of this ball game?
Yeah, let's start with what you asked for, Joe. Wow. Okay? Because it's worthy of a wow. But to answer your question, I go back to something. I talked with Frank Smith, the offense coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, and he said, our biggest task in this game on offense is to dictate terms to a defense that's used to doing that, exactly that, dictating terms. Today, starting with, I think, the second part of the second quarter, Baltimore's defense started dictating again. Because in the early part, Miami's offense had it going. Everything they threw at them, the motions, the shifts, they had every kind. They didn't have them confused as much as they created space. Remember, with Miami, they want to use length and width. Every blade of grass, get you in conflict, all those beautiful buzz terms, and they did it. And then finally, they adjusted to the speed, did Baltimore, even with backups on the corner at safety, and found a way to start making plays on the football and made it very tough and sticky for Tua and the rest of the Miami team. And then once Baltimore's offense took off, now the gap can't be closed by being able to run the football, which Miami does pretty effectively most of the time. Devon Achane had some really nice runs early, but as that gap widened, Joe, now you can't do that. And the Baltimore Ravens play like a Raven, the flock of Ravens, they were there.
Well, if it's length and width for Miami, oftentimes it's mass for the Ravens. And I can't help but look forward because you have a Buffalo team and a division to be decided with Miami in Week 18 that likes to do things similar to the Baltimore Ravens. There are nuances and differences, yes, but if you're Miami, can you take from this? Do you simply flush it? You have a division to win. It's a very good and hot football team in Buffalo next week.
Yeah, I think you got to flush it because you can't take much with you. If you carry it with you, it's just going to bog you down. Plus, at the end of this ball game, they lost their #1 pass rusher in Bradley Chubb with a knee injury, so we don't know the extent of that, but that could play into it as well. And we have a Buffalo team that we think is uber talented, we know is uber talented, and is finally hitting their stride. I think the game against New England was probably closer than we expected by score, but this Buffalo team now knows they're right back in the fight. They're going to play for a division title in Miami. The interesting part's going to be, can Buffalo adjust to the speed of Miami as quickly as Baltimore did today? They did it the first time out because it was a very similar game. In fact, I just watched it getting ready for this one. Track meet early, both sides, and then Buffalo clamped down defensively and won going away. Can they repeat that formula? Because Baltimore just imprinted on them, hey, what we did the first time worked. Can they do it a second time? This is going to be a fun one to watch.
Well, on the other side, the Ravens couldn't have looked much better. Lamar Jackson echoed as well in that statement. The MVP all but wrapped up perhaps after this one. They are the 1 seed that is locked in place. What's the proper course forward when you know you have that bye week 1 of the playoffs and week 18 doesn't hold a whole lot in this? You want to come in healthy, but you don't want to come in flat-footed. From just almost the study of the game, what is your belief in what you're supposed to do here in these final 2 weeks as you transition regular to playoffs?
Well, I think that we're going to go back to 2019 for a blueprint because they rested everyone in the last week of the season, didn't play them, and then we're flat against Tennessee in the divisional game. I think that Lamar Jackson might lead the guys to the office of John Harbaugh and say, hey, guys who are relatively healthy, at least play a little bit in the last game of the regular season. Yes, there's risk in that, but also the last time they did it and rested for 2 weeks, it didn't work, and I think they want to reverse that. And let's be honest about it, Joe. Is there anyone in this league who wants to win a playoff game more than Lamar Jackson, who wants to go deep into the playoffs considering all the success they've had, yet his playoff record is one that he's not enjoying? And as a possible 2-time MVP.
Our apologies as we have Cut off Charles Davis short. What a sin that is. Our friend and yours, always bringing the best here on CBS Sports HQ. Charles, we know you can't hear us, but we thank you. Here's a look at the most games with 5+ passing touchdowns, no interceptions against the same team. Lamar Jackson now 2 such instances. He goes for 5 in this game. CD and